Apple season is in full swing, and if you could find delicious cider all over Western Massachusetts, you've got it going on good. Well, we have Tinky Weisblat, the diva of deliciousness from TinkyCooks.com. We're making a couple of different things with apples today.
We're making, first we're starting with, because it is a little cold, as Nick just told us, so we're starting with pot roast. I only make pot roast once a year, but it's usually at this time of year when it's suddenly cold, and I'm like, we need something warm and smelly, nice smelly in the house.
Great smelling, because we're using cider with it. Is that right?
We are using sweet cider. Now, I have not tried this recipe with hard cider. I bet you could.
Well, maybe you can just have it with the sweet cider and drink a hard cider.
Well, that's what I was planning to do when my company comes tonight.
Because no one wants to waste the alcoholic.
So I'm going to tell you how we do this. It is so simple.
I love it. Let's go.
Yes. So you start with a pot roast, and I've got my pot roast divided in half. This looks very small, I know, but it's because we already cooked part of it, right?
Yep.
And so I'm using a chuck roast here that I just said to my butcher, like, what do I use? And he said, oh, I'll give you a chuck roast. So you marinate it for 24 hours.
All right, what do we have it marinated in?
Basically mulled cider, or what would the ingredients for mulled cider. So it's sweet cider, cloves, little ginger, little cinnamon. I actually found a cinnamon stick, so I put that in.
That's probably that really good sweet savory balance.
Tiny bit of brown sugar, but it's like a tablespoon. It's nothing.
Okay.
And then you marinate it for your 24 hours. Then you take it out. Oops. Let's see what we're going to put it on. I think we're going to put it on this plate.
All right.
We're going to keep the marinade.
Okay, we're keeping the marinade.
That's right. You can see a clove adhering.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Never have enough garlic, right?
There we go. Now, we take a little bit of, I have some oil, I hope, heating in this pan.
Yep.
We're just going to sprinkle a little flour on, just so it kind of will help it brown.
Okay.
You just start by browning it. And if it's not perfect, it really doesn't matter. The flour also is going to help the sauce it's in thicken ever so slightly. You can thicken it more. I like it kind of thin.
Okay, thin. Okay.
Well, it's like, I don't know, it's not exactly gravy, it's just sauce.
To each their own. If you want to add some extra afterwards, go for it.
Okay, let me get this out of the way. Okay, how are we doing here? Feels hot. Let's see if it makes a noise. If it doesn't make a noise, we're going to cook it anyway.
Oh, we're hearing that
noise.
Sizzle.
Yes, it's sizzling a little bit. So we're going to brown this on all of its sides. So
now, what kind of heat do we want that on? Do we want it on like a medium?
I started on medium high, and then you're going to turn it down to way low, because what you're going to do after we do this, which I might speed up, for the convenience of television.
Sure.
Why am I using my hand for this? I should be using an implement.
You have gloves on.
Pretend this is all brown.
Okay.
When it's all brown, you pour your marinade right back in it.
Oh, okay.
Because that's going to just simmer in the marinade.
That'll really infuse those extra flavors, too.
Exactly. So it keeps it going. It also keeps it moist.
Now, how long, if we were waiting, how long?
Oh, 3 hours.
Okay.
So that's why we have some already cooked, because your show's not that long. So
we can have it done by the end of our show on the CW.
We would, exactly. We would, maybe, yeah. Just about. We would cover this, which I'm not going to do right now because I'm going to get out the cooked one and we're going to try it.
Oh.
You cover it.
You don't have to ask me twice.
You simmer it for your 3 hours. You're going to flip it from time to time. And so you kind of need to be in the house. You don't want to leave the house.
Yeah.
And then you're also going to add a little more cider if you need to.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to need a lot more cider. So I'm moving this over. This is the cooked one.
Ooh, I see. See the nice steam?
Yes, and we're going to grab it with this is like an industrial fork.
The pitchfork.
That's quite the fork. Okay.
Wow.
And I serve this with noodles, sometimes with carrots. Sometimes you can stick the carrots in.
I have the pitchfork.
Do you want to slice a little?
Sure.
Okay.
Which way am I going? With?
I usually go, good point. They always say against the grain. Go against the grain. I usually go with the grain. So go with the grain. While you're doing that, I'm getting a plate for you to taste it on.
Sounds good. Ooh, this is very tender. It cuts very easily.
That's the idea of pot roast. It's just supposed to kind of...
Now, Tinky, I have to say, you always have such great ideas, and you always talk about the importance of eating local, shopping local.
For sure, and
so
this is... Sorry, go ahead.
This is the perfect season for it. I can only imagine how many apple orchards you go to visit and how many times.
I go to too many, and then I end up with too many apples, but I love it, and I love the cider. Some of the You should also check, audience members, I should tell you that they're starting to have pear cider at some of these. So put a little piece on here.
All right.
And then we're just
with our industrial pitchfork.
That's right. And then what I do is usually just take a little bit of our juice. Here, we're going to put the plate up where the people can see it.
Everybody can see.
And we just kind of do that. And yes, as I said, you can actually thicken this juice if you want to. And that's kind of it. You usually serve it with a vegetable, but hey, nobody's perfect.
Hey, there's a little bit of greenery in there, right?
I brought some parsley.
Now, Tinky, we are going to be also incorporating apples into our dessert.
Absolutely.
What are we going to be making?
We're making caramel apples. And by the way, they're both correct.
They are.
Caramel is also a correct American pronunciation. However, caramel is preferred.
I love how you fixed the shirt at that moment.
Yes,
We are going to be back with you in just a little bit. I cannot wait to try this. More information, we'll have the recipe for you guys right on mymassappeal.com.